Spirit of God in the clear running water, blowing to greatness the trees on the hill. Blow, blow, blow till I be but breath of the Spirit blowing in me.
Hello and welcome to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest is Cynthia Gooriah and she'll be talking about her faith in the Catholic faith, and we're also going to be talking about Mary's messages from May the 25th, 2022, and maybe another one at the end of the show, towards the end of the show. Welcome to the program, Cynthia.
Thank you, Mirella.
It's great to have you back again.
Thank you, it's great to be back.
Back for more.
Back for more.
All right, so what we'll do, as we did last week, I'll read Our Lady's message to the world, to everyone, and then we'll just read it sentence by sentence, and you can just talk about how you feel about it,
Sure.
what resonates with you. Okay, so Our Lady said on May the 25th, 2022, "Dear children, I am looking at you, thanking God for each of you, because He permits me to still be with you, to encourage you to holiness. Little children, peace is disturbed, and Satan wants peacelessness. That is why may your prayer be even stronger, so that every unclean spirit of division and war may be stilled. Be builders of peace and carriers of joy of the risen one in you and around you, for the good to win in every man. Thank you for having responded to my call." All right, so we'll start with the first message. Our Lady said, "Dear children, I'm looking at you and thanking God for each of you because He permits me to still be with you, to encourage you to holiness." So what would you like to say about that?
I think, it goes hand in hand. I think what the message there is that, when we choose Jesus over all the other things that are sort of pulling us away in life, that we're entrusted with peace. And peace is how we stay away from all of the evil things in this world. That it's a security.
Yeah.
It's a security, and doing our part in that, whether it be the rosary, the daily rosary, or just turning to Mother Mary for divine protection and divine love. But faith in that overrides fear.
Yes, and also a lot of religions, also a lot of like Christian religions, they all believe in Jesus. Like they all have this passion about Jesus. So there's obviously something there.
Definitely. Yes.
Because I remember once years ago when I heard about the thought of Jesus being in us. Even though I was brought up Catholic, but when I was about 22, I heard Jesus lives in us and Jesus lives in our neighbour. And I remember thinking that's a really amazing thing, because I went to Catholic schools, but I never really heard about that aspect.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I'll put it to the test, and I'll go somewhere and I'll see if I can see Jesus in someone that I don't know, so I'm not going to look like a fool. And just as I was doing that, the person was like a little jewellery store, just a cheap jewellery store, and then the person that I was looking at to try and see if I could see Jesus in just put the ring on my finger when I was doing that, and I was thinking that's amazing. Like I got freaked out a bit. I thought, wow, that's kind of. I was just thinking I'm looking for Jesus in the person, and then they put the ring on instantly. I thought that was enough that I knew for confirmation. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
That's all I needed in that moment to sort of convince me.
Wow.
Because He is. If we put that energy and time into thinking that Jesus literally is in each person, we'll see Him.
It.
Yeah.
You see it. Yeah. Oh, beautiful story.
Yeah. And then Our Lady said, "Little children, peace is disturbed and Satan wants peacelessness." Little children, peace is disturbed and Satan wants peacelessness. So that's why it's so important to be in peace, isn't it?
And I think prayer guarantees peace. I think the way that we're living today, we don't have the time. Life is too busy, and I think that there's something wrong with that. I think that, you can never be too busy for prayer, because prayer is time with Jesus and dialogue with Jesus, and that's where it all starts from. And I think when you're running around sort of fulfilling every other need, you lose sight and contentment and in turn peace. in life in general. And then that's when, you can get sick and bad things can happen. And then as well, most importantly, you're exposed to the other side, the other energies of this world that aren't, for you. Yeah. And unfortunately, people have to learn the hard way in that regard, you know. But I think what Mother Mary is trying to say in her messages is like a prelude, she's pre-warning us that this is what we need to do. These are her instructions to us to keep us on the right track, and to keep us faithful and to keep us peaceful, and then in turn we can help others to do the same, but we're too exposed without being aware of what we need to do of falling short.
And also, even if it's just one moment, like in that busy day, just one moment you stop and say, for example, you just look up at the sky and just talk in that moment to Jesus, talk in that moment to God. In the middle of your busyness, just take even a pause for half a second or a minute, and that'll make a difference to your day.
Yep, definitely. I try to talk to him all the time as if he's my best friend.
Yeah.
And pray on everything as well. Dialogue, and I do little, I structure it, and I'll say, all right, 3 o'clock's Divine Mercy time. Yeah. And then I'll go out and I'll make that effort, It's just a matter of how we would schedule a normal day otherwise, an ordinary day. Yeah. I feel it's really important to do the same thing with your prayer life and your dialogue with Jesus.
Exactly, because it is true, people get so hectic and busy that they can't stop for a minute. But even if you just try and stop for 1 minute, because like with mothers with children and working and all this kind of stuff and getting so hectic, just stop for a minute and you'll see that the problem that you were worried about would have settled itself half the time.
Or even better, even if it's the first thing you do when you wake up, and that way it's sort of done,
Yes,
Give yourself that 5 minutes every morning.
Exactly.
Before you get out of bed, and you can just say, Lord, I surrender this day to you. Guide me in your will and fill me with the Holy Spirit.
Beautiful. Yeah. And then Our Lady said, that is why may your prayer be even stronger, so that every unclean spirit of division and war may be stilled. Wow. So I'll just read that again. That is why may your prayer be even stronger, so that every unclean spirit of division and war may be stilled. Because there's so much division, isn't there? There's no need for division. Because when people get together, they all generally get along. It's just, there's no need for division. Yeah.
Unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it keeps things ununited. And then it's harder to move forward.
That's right. Well, we have to go to a break now, move forward on that. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich and we're here with Cynthia Gooriah and we're talking about Mary's messages from Medjugorje. Welcome back to the program, Cynthia.
Thank you.
And the last sentence of the May the 25th, 2022 message was from Our Lady was, be builders of peace and carriers of joy of the risen one, in you and around you, for the good to win in every man. Thank you for having responded to my call. So Our Lady's asking us to rise, basically, to rise up a bit and be the peace and carrier of joy of Jesus in us and around us, for the good to win in everyone. So if we love and see Jesus in each other, the good wins, because you bring out the good in them. And they didn't even know you're doing that. Like whoever that was when I was trying to see Jesus in him, pretending to see Jesus in him. It was like a game for me at that time. Let's be honest, it was like a game. Let's see if I can catch him. Let's see if I can really see him. But anyway, and so then I really did. So, you know what I mean? And it does bring joy, and it brings joy in the other people.
Definitely. I think as well what I take from that message is when we do the work and we make sure that we're, filled with the Holy Spirit and led by God, I feel that we give our loved ones or you know, the people that we're in love with or want relationships with, or you know, we create that platform for others to do the same.
That's right.
You know, so you know, you could never tell anybody what to do, but you can do it in that way and pray for them so that they also find that path to Jesus and open their hearts as well.
Beautiful. And I'll read the next message on June the 25th, 2022 from Our Lady Queen of Peace, Medjugorje. Our Lady said, "Dear children, I rejoice with you and thank you for every sacrifice and prayer which you have offered for my intentions. Little children, do not forget that you are important in my plan of salvation of mankind. Return to God and prayer that the Holy Spirit may work in you and through you. Little children, I am with you also in these days when Satan is fighting for war and hatred. Division is strong and evil is at work in man as never before. Thank you for having responded to my call." That was on June the 25th, 2022. So I'll start with the first message. "Dear children, I rejoice with you and thank you for every sacrifice and prayer which you have offered for my intentions." Did you want to say anything on that?
I think, yeah, using the Rosary and using Mother Mary in times of where we're finding ourselves so challenged is crucial. Is crucial. I was at a healing retreat, and the priest was saying that that's our weapon. That you could pray the Rosary, and then you could put your hand over any problem, and you know, heal that problem by the power of the Rosary. So just realizing how powerful she is and was, even carrying Jesus for all those years, and you know, she's saying, "Come to me, and pray for my intentions as well as follow Christ as well." That's really important. Yeah.
"Little children, do not forget that you are important in my plan of salvation of mankind." So we're all playing a part. So what are your thoughts on that?
It's astonishing to me, you know, that we are part of their plan, and the glory doesn't just belong to us. That, you know, we feel the benefits, and we feel, you know, our life is better, and you know, things are just falling into place or easy compared to, but you know, that it goes higher than that, that our glory is their glory. And that, you know, when we do things, we're not just doing them for ourselves, but we're doing them for our fellow mankind, and as in turn for them.
That's right. And we all go together. You know, we all work together. You know, if one goes, we all go. We're all united, really.
One in Christ.
And we can just be the example for each other and just grab each other. And everyone's different, but we'll find we're all the same, really.
The solution remains.
Yeah. Return to God and prayer that the Holy Spirit may work in you and through you. Return to God and prayer that the Holy Spirit may work in you and through you. Yeah, that's about quietening ourselves, I think, isn't it? And instead of being caught up with so much, just to really go within and just really wait till we feel that presence of God in us, instead of just racing and you know what I mean?
Or wanting, you know, and sometimes just that presence is all we need, that give us the strength to then get up and go again. You know, when my mum committed suicide and my dad committed suicide, you know, I had the choice to either fall as well, or whether I was to choose something higher, you know, a higher power that could release me from all of those turmoil, those negative feelings that weren't from God, you know, but I had to make that choice. And I think for me it's very, very prevalent that, you know, we need to make that choice. We need to make that choice, and we need to pray and follow through with that choice to be able to gain the beauties and the, you know, the holinesses of everything that our faith is based on.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful. And then Our Lady said, "Little children, I am with you also in these days when Satan is fighting for war and hatred." So to remember Our Lady's with us, that she's with us as well, like to really believe it, not just to think of it as just words on paper, but really visualise her there.
Know that she's there. Yeah.
To carry through, because you know, everyone has big sufferings, huge sufferings, horrific sufferings, really, when you get to know people. You think, how did you get through that? Like, wow. You know, but people do. People are strong. People are resilient, and they've got God in them. That's why they're so strong. They really are.
I mean, for
Yeah.
me personally, I can only speak for myself, but yeah, if I didn't have that platform when I was a kid, I wouldn't have stood a chance. And I somehow managed to keep joy in my heart and love in my heart because of my upbringing, you know, because of the way that I was raised and the way I was taught to have faith, you know, which kept me alive through all of these things, and not only alive, but to come out of it stronger and wiser, where I can actually report back on how I got through those situations, you know.
Yeah.
But definitely the other side is at work, and for me it's the awareness of that, the knowing of that battle, and then being able to say, all right, well, this is what you know, Mother Mary is telling us to do about it, you know, the rosary, prayer with intentions, you know, all that sort of stuff for the cooperations. And
Yeah, and also it's powerful what you were saying as well off camera, that those thoughts, the negative thoughts that people have, they're not coming from God.
no.
You know, so they're not yours, they're not ours, they're not our thoughts. If you have negative thoughts, they're not from us.
Yep. Yeah,
From
most
God.
definitely. Yeah, and I think the more people talk about this sort of stuff, it's going to reach the hearts of our communities and our families, and just knowing that you're not alone, and it's okay and safe to actually, you know, let those guards down and actually talk about deep things that, you know, aren't meant to be kept suppressed.
We have to go to a break now. You're watching Spirit of Life. Stay with us. We'll be back with more very shortly.
Blow till I feel the breath of the Spirit blowing in me. Blow, blow till I feel the breath of the Spirit blowing in me.
Hello and welcome back to Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich and we're here with Cynthia Gooriah, and we're talking about Our Lady Queen of Peace's message from Medjugorje, and this one will be 25th of April 2022. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you.
And I'll just read the message and then we'll go through it.
Sure.
Our Lady said on the 25th of April 2022, "Dear children, I am looking at you and I see that you are lost. That is why I'm calling all of you, return to God, return to prayer. And the Holy Spirit will fill you with His love, which gives joy to the heart. Hope will grow in you also for a better future, and you'll become joyful witnesses of God's mercy in you and around you. Thank you for having responded to my call." So I'll start with the first line. "Dear children, I'm looking at you and I see that you are lost." What would you like to say about that?
I mean, I can speak from personal experience. You know, I'm exact example of Jesus leaving his flock to go and find the one that, you know, steered away, and that's exactly what I experienced. You know, the looking at us, I was completely lost the way I was living. You know, completely lost and so exposed because of being lost to more dangers. No awareness at all as to what to do to get back or what to do to come back home. So I really relate to her in that, what she's saying to us, that, you know, we need to be aware that we're not grounded and we're not founded, we're not content, we're living the wrong way.
Exactly. "That is why I'm calling all of you, return to God, return to prayer, and the Holy Spirit will fill you with His love, which gives joy to the heart." I guess people aren't going to know it unless they try it.
And it's one of these things, you know, where does that measure up? Do people have to go right to the bottom to then need to seek something else? And I think this is where church is so powerful. You know, like you've got somebody, say, who doesn't know Jesus at all, and then you've got a friend of theirs who's a devout Catholic, and you know, bringing that friend along and letting him just experience, you know, Jesus' presence, and it's just that opening of the door for the one that doesn't know Jesus, you know, at all. And I think that's what we need to do, and it says in the Bible to, you know, go out and rejoice the word and bring people back. You know, some won't listen, some will have to sort of learn the hard way and go right down to rock bottom and suffer and learn through you know, pain. But I think that if we could, you know, I truly believe in the Holy Spirit, and that, you know, if you sort of say the right words to somebody or show them enough love, that the Holy Spirit will come through them and guide them in the way they should be going.
Okay. Hope will grow in you also for a better future, and you'll become joyful witnesses of God's mercy in you and around you. Thank you for having responded to my call. What would you like to say on that?
Thankfully, I do have that in my heart. I really do have that hope, and it's very true that it does grow. It grows daily. I never thought that I'd never thought that I'd be able to say, life has become good again. I never thought I'd see the day. It was just one thing after another, and you actually become used to that, and it becomes your norm to accept that, good things aren't going to happen to me, or, life isn't going to be like that for me. And now just realizing that was never a truth. That was something I settled for. Because I didn't have any grounding. I didn't have the platform that really rose me up from all of those hard experiences. I was just stuck there. But yeah, through opening my heart bit by bit, didn't happen overnight, but it took a lot of sort of perseverance, a lot of prayer and perseverance, and going back to how I was raised, and being raised in the church, and all of those principles and beliefs that sort of helped me to see the difference, and to see that there is a way of living, or a conditional way of living, that isn't very good for us. Without Christ as foundation, we just don't. We're not content.
And what advice would you perhaps like to give to someone else who maybe have gone through some of the things you've gone through, who may be struggling right now and think, well, there is no God, why would he allow this to happen to me?
Be courageous enough to let him back in, to let him in, whether it be reaching out or to a friend, or talking about it. It's just little baby steps, but not settling that this is it for you, and finding your way back to him through going to church, or even if it's just raising it up to the surface and actually talking about it, and that will then take away feelings of loneliness and things like that, because you don't know that people have also gone through these struggles until you talk about it. And I think fear of being vulnerable can sort of sometimes keep people in the dark, but Jesus knows you and loves you, and even if it's just talking to him and creating a dialogue with him is probably the most important thing, and slowly but surely he'll shine his light on you and get you out of that darkness.
That's right. And also to remember that those words that people might have when they're talking negatively to themselves, they're not from themselves.
No. Off camera we had a discussion about the power of the word and reading the Bible, and how alive that is. And for me personally, I've felt not like controlled by my feelings, because when I'm reading the word, I'm still in his love, his profound love, and how different that is to just being a human being with feelings, where I'm not in control, or where they're controlling me. And I think the other side uses that to sort of allow people to feel unstable and not know how to where to go, or how to sort of heal from it.
And so, to remember to read the Bible, to get inspiration from the Bible. Sometimes even if you pray, if you say a prayer and you just close your eyes, but you pray it really from your heart, and then you open the Bible, sometimes you literally see the word that you need to see, or the guidance that you need to see in that moment.
Yeah, definitely.
That helps too. I've tried that a few times and it's been right on. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a bit accurate.
And he does that. He's a funny God. He does that. And he says, yes, I am listening. I have heard your prayer, just confirmation.
Yeah, it's confirmation. So there's lots of ways. But we've run out of time. But thank you so much for coming on the program, Cynthia.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Mirella. I'm so honoured for this experience and this opportunity, and I really hope to touch others who have, also going through the same thing, to always believe and reach out, because he does love us all.
Beautiful. Thank you for those words. Hope you enjoyed the program. You've been watching Spirit of Life. I'm Mirella Rich, and our guest was Cynthia Gooriah. And may God bless you, and may you feel his presence with you all the time, and Mary's too.